This land of ours is under attack. Time has come, we're gonna take it back. Just wait and see. Don't tread on me. I won't sit back, stand idly by, and watch the heart of my nation die. Oh, not me. Don't tread on me. Don't tread on my Bible, don't tread on my guts, don't you tread on my faith in God's only Son. Don't tread on me. Don't tread on me.
Yeah, just like it talks about zombies in the Bible. For real. The second to last book, Zephaniah, talks about zombies. The book of Ezra talks about zombies. The book of there's so much stuff in there. So don't think Hollywood had the corner on that. That's where they got it from.
Oh yeah, speaking about Hollywood, they're selling holly trees now. I was at Home Depot or no, they sell it I think at Tractor Supply.
Holly trees.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. That's what you make witches' broomsticks out of. The holly tree.
That's what I was wondering. Why in the world is it that way?
Yeah. So we're gonna start seeing brooms that are made with holly handles.
Right on their way to hell.
Yeah.
Let's track. Speaking about that, men shall not live of bread alone, Steve.
That's right.
Which was Matthew's 4:4. We were talking about this earlier today, or not today, but yesterday.
Yeah,
because we were going to do a show. But anyway, you're right that you without the essence of Yahuwah, like you were talking about, and I think he says when we're worshiping him, the fragrance, the sweet fragrance.
Right. Our prayers are a sweet incense onto him. His nostrils. He smells it. And just like we also get reverence from him too, we get that satisfaction. And I'll tell you, there's every middle September, it's called Elu, and it's real. It's where Yahuwah comes down and visits his children. Just for a second, I experienced it last September. I walked out of my shop and I was looking at sky was totally beautifully blue, fluffy white clouds, and I was told Yahuwah, you have created such a beautiful day. And then there's this, I felt an energy descend upon me, very comforting. Just for a few seconds, it was like a big hug, very peaceful, and then it slowly left, just like Elu says it is. Yeah. And then, the other dream I had, I mean, it's really true that you need to believe in the Messiah. As I was told directly in my dream, I don't know, we'll get on next time, but I'll tell you in the dream, because of the belief I have in Yahuwah, or Yeshua, the Messiah, Yahuwah too, they're both one and the same. That because of that, I was allowed to be somewhere in my dream that without it would have been impossible. Yeah, because it's told that it because of my belief that I was made righteous and made honorable, therefore I was able to be there at that particular place. So it is very true. You have to believe. You really got to believe. And I wish we could get our faith that the size of a mustard seed. We can put an end to the tyranny very rapidly.
That's where I feel that some of us we talk to have, that are frightened, have never had this and also see some of the spiritual, spiritualness behind it. I mean, I don't know how to really say it, because I mean, someone to really cower back like that, Steve, when you're righteously upset, not just upset because of, oh, it's cool to do it, or, oh, I'm pissed off today because some Prius cut me off,
Yeah.
or somebody flipped me off because my Trump thing. It's like, no, that's completely different than tired of the tyranny, family members dying, people around you dying, emptiness of just everywhere, emptiness of
Right.
love, emptiness of families, emptiness of cities.
And that's what they're trying to isolate us and turn us into enslave us. But there's some of us, I'll call us the chosen, because we're called. Others are probably chosen. They may have not heard the calling yet. But we don't walk in the same light like the rest of the world. We don't fit into their conformities. We don't follow the ideological rules that they set forth in front of us. We definitely follow after the spiritual side of Yahuwah in a natural way at first, and then you begin. And then when you get so far, then you don't want to sin because you feel bad when you do, and there's no reward for that sin. No reward.
It's an empty, no matter what you
Right.
get, it's
No
empty.
matter what you do. But when you repent before Yahuwah and you do your best, as none of us are going to be able to follow the law perfectly. That's a total 100% given. Do not justify yourself by the law. Therefore, you fall from the grace of Yeshua. So, but you still do your best to follow his commandments, the Sabbath, the feast days, which I need to work on more. And you do those things in accordance, because Jeremiah 6:16 tells us to seek the old paths, for they are good.
Like, I'm starting to see some of the right side or right wing news outlets. It might be on the weekend, it might be late at night, but they're bringing gay people on now. Oh, I mean, actually, they're also bringing on every night at 8 to 9. I don't want to call these people out by names, but they're gay. And I said to you, and I said to everybody else, if God calls it a sin, it's a sin. I don't care what man says whatsoever.
Right. So next, when we come on again, that's heavy in the book of Romans, Leviticus, and I think a number. Really heavy in the book of Romans. It flat out tells everything.
Man shall not lie with man, or thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is an abomination.
Right. Well, we give up our natural ways, and our lust burns one for another, leaving the natural ways, and then we receive the recompense from within ourselves.
And
but I think we have let's look at it like this. I mean, we don't want to be on the attack, but we just want, I know, yeah, we just want to let people hear the word when it's concerning that. Because I'm telling you, as a person, we're not going to belittle anybody. We're not going to attack them. We're just going to tell them what the word says. And those people, then, they have to take it from there.
Yeah.
But once they read the word, it will forever haunt them. It will stay with them, because when they read it, they will never forget that. There's certain things we read in scripture we do not forget, because what is a blessing can become a curse. It really can. It's scary. Out of all the creatures on the planet, we humans that were created by Yahuwah, in his likeness, as his image. Any animals out there, they do exactly what they're supposed to do. They have no fear of hell. They just don't. But we do, because we know. You know down deep inside when you violate natural laws. Seriously.
We're spiritual beings.
That's right. Because our spirit inside of us is eternal. It knows. It knows. Because this body's, they're going to get old. They're going to die. Once you're appointed unto life, therefore you are also appointed unto death. But go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I came across this today. If it plays, or is
What? Yeah, it's pretty wild. So Florida now.
This is written in 91 AD. At the same time, there appeared in Judea an extraordinary person called Jesus, if it be lawful to call him a man. He was a famous worker of miracles, a teacher of those who were desirous of receiving the truth in simplicity, and brought over to him many disciples, both Jews and Gentiles. This was the Christ, whom Pilate, as the accusation of the princes and the great men of the nation, delivered up to the ignominious punishment of the cross, notwithstanding which those who first loved him did not forsake him. He appeared to them alive again the third day after his crucifixion, with numberless other wonders concerning him. And thence to this day there is a set of people who bear the name of Christian, as owning him for their head, Lord, and Master. My. This is written.
Yeah.
that's one of the old books that you want to get, Steve. That is from the 1700s. But if you actually look from those that are actually from 1700s or earlier, a lot of those books are $3,000, $5,000, and it's like, why can't you do it like a scan?
Well, they are, but you can order prints of them now. They're about $700.
But do you trust it?
Well, if they do an actual reprint,
that's what I'm saying.
That's the thing. And I think, because when he's saying the word Jesus, 1600s, it was Jesus, not Jesus. So see, they already had altered and put a J in there. There's no J in Hebrew. There's no V in Hebrew. There's no W. That's why we don't say Yahweh. We say Yahuwah. That's why we don't say Yehovah. We say Yahuwah. That's why we don't say Jehovah. We say Yahuwah.
That I just realized that when you said Yahuwah like that, it's starting to sound like the military chants, in Latin, where they have the hua, it sounds like guttural. Yeah.
But Yah is the abbreviated name of Yahuwah. You can say Yah. Hallelujah. Praise Yahuwah. Praise God. Praise Yahuwah. And then us using God, I mean, we grew up like that. We were taught like that. And like I tell everybody, if you're seeking his real name, then I believe that Yahuwah is gracious, and he's gracious. And if you're seeking and looking, he'll wink upon that for a time. But there's going to come a time when we need to know the real names.
Yeah. And
there will come a time when we call upon his name. His name. His name's not God. His name's not Lord. His name is Yeshua, the Christ, Jesus, and Yahuwah, Elohim. And there's also Elohim, actually, I think is really should pronounce another one, Alua, because the deity started with El. So there's a lot for us to learn. A ton of us to learn. But that's all we do, though. We seek his ways. And us fallen, it says, when you repent and turn back, you must seek it 10 times harder. And that's actually in scripture too. I don't remember where the verse is, but it says that. You must seek it 10 times harder. There's a lot in there. Eventually we'll move into where maybe we'll do one show where we're just talking about this stuff, and then the other show we'll keep it more secular. There'll be inner things like we're talking about now, but they'll be dealing with more secular things like, the financial system, the judicial system, all of that.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah.
It helps out, or it'll help out because some people are not there right now. And unfortunately, it's gonna be sad. Some of them are never gonna be there. You see this thing, Steve?
The solar car? No, I did not.
Yeah, from the 1950s.
Yep.
And here we are. We got solar, and then you see it a lot out there in Colorado, which is absolutely stupid because you guys get huge hail, and not to mention, everyone I've seen test it, you guys are like at 30% efficiency out of it, not 100% efficiency, and it's just a waste of time. Oh yeah, it's just my roof. Your roof is there for a reason. It was
Well,
engineered.
and the thing is, you need to put it on a platform that has an azimuth drive on it. And that azimuth drive always keeps the panels like a clock directly at the sun. And then at night, the sun goes down, it moves back to catch the sunrise at the perfect spot. And during every year it's set so it moves precisely with the sun. Then you get 100%. Well, not 100, because the efficiency, like everything, drops off. They have new solar panels out now that are way more efficient. In fact, Elon Musk, they have them. You wait and see. So much technology is going to be released. We're going to build those 10 new cities. And those 10 new cities are going to be like George Jetson. They're going to be phenomenally advanced, beautiful cities.
We're gonna need to catch up to where we're supposed to be. Did you see this yet, Steve? This is one of the Tesla vandals that got arrested.
Yeah, well, I guess he shouldn't have, because he's looking at 20. He
Yep.
burned them. He's looking at 20.
Oh, by the way, I thought about this. Is those guys that are wiping their butt and putting it on your handle? Due to the pictures and stuff on my truck, I was thinking about putting hot sauce and beating them to it. Go ahead. Look
Yeah.
at some other stuff.
Well, they were doing fentanyl on napkins, sticking them in there. And I talked to the doctor before. That doesn't go through your skin, but as soon as you rub your eyes, or you go like this, or you pick on your fingernail, bam. And that's how they were grabbing women for the sex trade, sex trafficking.
But that doesn't exist, according to
Oh, that didn't exist at all, man. No. But anyways,
yeah, kids
I
coming out.
I don't want to come across either from a perspective of Yeshua as being like knowing everything. I don't know everything. Believe me, I'm just scratching a scratch. It's really the multitude to learn out there is incredible. But just like that guy that was reading, that was a secular book, if I remember correctly. And it was a secular observance. Even Pontius Pilate talks about Yeshua. He was clean cut, he's well groomed. He didn't wear rich clothing, but he wore nice clothing. He was softly spoken, but extremely wise. So I look at those as examples. There's no need in raising our voices, because a lot of times we just really need to listen. When you're talking to somebody and you're explaining something, go, well, they're not listening to you. And that's why I think it's a good idea just to practice sitting in silence and listening. get that thought starts coming up, you go, shh. That's what I did all the time. Shh. I still do sometimes. I'm sitting quietly. Shh. You know, um, so it's the way you do that is you just listen intently. You might start hearing something.
But they don't want to.
Yeah. Well, I'm guilty at times too. You know, this is the front of my face. And then we have that, and we have to have noise around us. And I think we need to learn not to have noise around us. We need to learn to silence, because biblically I find is not only from 3 to about 5 in the morning is really heavy spiritual activity. And I've ran into stuff before, and you get woke up 3:30 in the morning. If you get woke up pleasantly, then get out of bed and say, what is it that I need to hear, Father? And just listen and pray and listen.
You sure knocking on your window's not one of those?
Well, there's some demonics that don't like me very well, put it that way.
I think there's some humans that don't like you either.
But I know, but the window, I have a raised ranch. You'd have to have a ladder to climb up and tap on the window. What was it? It was 240. First tap, I was like, oh, here they go again. Second tap, I was like, oh. So I went outside and I, rebuked whatever it was. No fear, because I know Yahuwah and his angels were with us. The spirit of Yahuwah. You got to see. Another thing too, fill yourself with his spirit, because we are the temples. There need be no more sacrifices. Yeshua is the sacrifice. There be no more. It's not necessary. Not necessary to have a physical temple anymore, because they were for the sacrifices. And that's where the Levite priest formed the sacrifices. That which is in part is done away with when that which is complete. When Yeshua was crucified and descended into death, and then arose on the third day, there is no more need for any sacrifice. We don't need the Levite priest for that anymore. Yeshua is our high priest, and the Holy of Holies is opened up to us. Now, because of him, we are made righteous and honorable, and we can walk with Yahuwah again. Praise him, worship him, and walk with him as his sons and daughters, because he created us because he wanted fellowship with his own kind. He had the angels that were magnificent, but he still wanted his own kind to fellowship with.
You remember you've been called for this for a while, for a couple of years now, as the same as I've been called to do a truther show, because I got tired of so many of the false truthers being just as bad as the fake news media of telling lies, just like the dumb literally kind of funny guy that we were talking about earlier, or other ones that are taking your money, or false prophets that are trying to guide you in false directions, or you gotta listen to me, or all this other stuff, why they're living in lavish houses, or have it's not hating, there's just different things that are red flags about it, that not the money part, it's just the way that they were acting and reacting. And
well, it's like the mega churches, those preachers and preachettes, I call them. It's about the money.
Yeah, well, they say you have to give us a G5, and we have to get the latest G5.
Yeah. Oh, this is it. I went to one time about 25 years ago, one of the mega churches. So it happened to be the pastor's birthday. Another guy got up there and said, well, the pastor's 56 years old today. So you multiply that times this. Everybody needs to write out a check for this amount and bring it up to the stage. And I'm thinking, most of these people in here can't pay their power bill. You're profiting from the pulpit in the wrong way. When I watched all these people I knew, and I watched probably 3/4 of all of them walk up to the stage and leave checks and cash all over the stage. And here this man was wearing a like $1,200 suit 25 years ago. It made me really, I almost stood up and spoke out loud. But I had to just shake my head and leave.
It's kind of like the churches now, man, with all the 501c3s of we're okay. The government has the ability to tell you what to do. And we saw all the cowering down during COVID. We should have had more preachers just like that strong man up there in Canada.
Canada.
Yeah.
And we did have some. I mean, one thing, there's certain things I don't agree with, like with Robin Bullock. They at least kept going. They at least kept going. But I did go to a congregation during COVID, and there was hardly anybody there, and everybody was sitting 6 feet apart with masks on. Of course, I was the guy who didn't have a mask. According to peer review, masks are, they're 65 microns, and the virus is 0.3 microns. That mask is like wearing a chain link fence on your face, plus your eyes are exposed, plus it leaks. The biggest scam this side of the century.
And if you ever educate yourself 1 minute of a second and watched any germ videos from germ labs, they're not running around with an N95 mask at all.
No. They have
body, suit, respirator, and they said level 5 filter, whatever that is, air filters in there.
Right. The filters, the seat stays pressurized, and it has a UV light right above the face. It's not, that's why you see them in the movies, that UV kills not everything. Not good for you to stay under it, but it will. Yeah. And so it's just, it doesn't make any sense. None of it did. We'll have to touch on that. We'll touch on one thing here, and I'll find that lady from China that's really, you can tell she's a very intelligent woman. But COVID was, the crematoriums were running continuously. It was smoking up the cities.
And remember, 25 million phones disappeared.
Right. And actually they went from 1.4 billion down to 800 million now. But the CCP says they're like 1.2 million. But even their own AI, she was challenging it, this doctor, and it admitted, it goes, yeah, you're right.
And you were meaning
To add up, there's more like 800 million people left.
You're right.
Yeah.
There's something. Besides that part, a lot of the Christians died. That's what makes me wonder what happened to oh crap, what was that guy's name? Les. What happened to Les there? He was going over, he was from Hawaii, and he was on our backstage.
Oh, I remember him, yeah.
And do you remember me shutting up Gene? Fuck it. Did you remember me shutting up Gene on the backstage when he came back, when Les came back from his Bible study and everything? Because I was like, we should be listening to this. This is a guy going over to China and giving communist Bibles, having to hide under places, hide underneath the regime.
Basically putting his freedom and his life on the line. He showed his dedication to Yahuwah.
But everybody wanted to hear the little whatever you want to call it, tickle everybody's ear. Okay, yeah, guys, we're over here on this little dam over here in Mexico. Oh, no, now we're working our way up, and
Yeah,
there's an
yeah.
earthquake, and this earthquake equivalates to this over here in this mountain range, and then, oh, look, Chile's got something going on. Oh, the Pacific Rim, somewhere else has got another one. You know, that's a dam. Anywhere at 4.0 is a dam. Meters. You know, it's like, come on, guys. I mean, where are you getting this information? Are you going down there? Do you have a seismograph? Do you also have one of those seismometers or whatever, the ones that go down an X-ray that you know that there's a tunnel down there? I mean, where are you getting this from? And a lot of it is, I started off that whole thing of the PDF file, not the whole dumb thing. I just started off the PDF file where I grabbed all the stuff from what he told me of the emails he was added into, and Philip Schneider's information, where he had that original PDF document, and I typed it out, where he said where the original dumbs were, where all that line went across and everything like that. And then he had, so he paid me for that one time, and I if you talk to Tanya, we had to actually beg him to do that, and I think Rick wound up actually paying us
Really.
6
Hey,
to
let me
9
go
months. Like I said, the reason why I said that is because the coordinator, he started calling them coordinators, people that would volunteer to do his work for him for cheap, to little to nothing,
Mhm.
would come in, and they just kept snowballing on with all of this. And there was errors, spelling errors in it, because I wanted him to proofread. I told him, I said, proofread it. But anyways, the reason why I say that is there's no real quality in it, or quality control in it whatsoever. It's just out there to make money. And same thing with others are out there to make money, similar ways. And no, I'm not perfect. I'm not free of sin, and I try to do better every day. And no, it's not because of, we gave or I gave my life over to Yahuwah better than you. No, it's, I see people notice their sins, but don't care and continue to do them. Oh, he'll forgive me. I can continue to do this, or I can continue to do that because he'll forgive me. You can't keep
Right.
relying on that crutch, because God, Yahuwah will show you. There's going to be a time in life where you're going to have to go through all those times you're assholes, all those times you did bad things. You're going to have to go through and watch it. There's going to be no, oh, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. You're going to have to actually live through it and answer to it.
Yeah.
There's going to be no, getting away from it. And that's where you got to start living your life like that. And that's where the God fearing comes into play. So if you do it that way, then you won't have to worry about all this, other stuff. Our world would be much more peaceful. Wouldn't have to worry about stuff. I mean, you got all these guys fighting over Mexico. We just talked about this. And then I just watched a special from Real America's Voice where it's Border and Patrol. And this guy, he's going down there, and you could see all the crap that they go through. They have to pay the cartels to go through, and then the cartels know where the vulnerable ones are. It's all nothing but a money laundering scheme. On this side, they have to get the cartels. They have to pay them once they get on this side of the fence. I mean, there's so much when it corruption that we need to help start fixing up. And then don't get me started on Canada there, eh? They had
With the
dictator.
new prime minister, that's he is actually part of the English or Bank of England. He's ran it for 7 years, and he is going to try to crash America, he said.
Yeah. And just so you know, I have family members that are Canadian and American, eh? And
Yeah.
then I grew up with Mexicans, actually Mexicans from Mexico. Worked with my uncle, worked with his landscaping company and everything like that, and grew up with them. That's how I learned a little bit of my Spanish and stuff like that. But yeah, so I mean, those idiots that go, you're racist. No, I have an opinion. We all have opinions, and I'm not sitting there going, we have to segregate this one and this one. No, it's law. There you go. You're focused. Law and order now is all we want. And yes, it's a catchy phrase, but it's pretty much what we wanted from the beginning. And Trump just put it into a good catchphrase for us, is what it is. Because we don't want our children to be able to be afraid to go to a park or go home from school on a bike or walk,
No.
because
In fact,
criminals.
wouldn't that be great if our children, when I grew up, we didn't worry about that stuff. I went to the park by myself. I walked 2 blocks by myself and got my, penny candy. And I was only, I was as a kindergartner. You don't do it. Little kids don't do that now. In fact, most of them, they can't even play in their front yards in their neighborhoods without parents watching them. It's that bad. We need to fix that.
And some of it's kids too, Steve. Some of the kids don't want to go out because of you pointed out earlier.
Oh yeah, I know. We need to get back. I mean, the technology and things going on has become such a distraction to us as an individual and at a spiritual level.
I mean, take a look at our previous generation. Some of them have started lacking some of the knowledge that we're able to share, but we don't need to know what Dianita's or Diane's doing down the street with, her butthole or whatever, TikTok video you're watching. You know what I mean? Or,
Yeah,
or
I know what you mean, man.
how Phil and Dan are breaking up today, or whatever bull crap that people watch on these TikToks.
Yeah.
That's not information. I mean, sometimes I see stuff, Steve, but some of it is pertaining to what's going on. I'm seeing a lot of men are saying that they rather be single than dealing with these people. Women are saying you need to have at least 5 figures or at least make $100,000 or $200,000 a year for them to get it. And man, some of these guys are like fat cows, 300 pounds, 500 or 5 foot. And it's like, and a lot of these guys are, what do you bring to the table is what they're asking them. And it's like, they have almost no value. A lot of their body count is up, a lot of we've discussed that on the prior show of the DNA that it involves, which starts ruining the female because you can mix your DNA with other men's DNA and it can look like something else.
Yeah.
It's not you and what's created. And you're right, you're not supposed to be sharing, but right now Satan has gotten a hold of all these women and mixed them up you could go satisfy anything you want. And every one of the women I've heard did that. They got divorced or something like that, felt empty. No matter how many men they slept with, as soon as the man left, they felt empty. Because what happened was there's a connection. Remember what happens with male and female. There's a connection there. That's why this doesn't work. This doesn't work.
Yeah.
Only what Yahuwah has intended. I don't need to show the real one, but the intended one is, it's a connection, not the sex part itself, but being with that individual.
We're both different energy.
Yeah.
And it circles.
Yep. And
both
if it does
feed off each other to energy level.
Yep. And it can make them depressed too, because of you're not having that, or once they leave the color, it's like an emptiness of there's nothing there anymore. And
Right.
A lot of them do it to themselves because they think grass is better on the other side. Oh, we did that last episode too, Steve. Remember we showed that one? This is exactly what happened. This is why women ruined it for the Garden of Eden, because they were expecting more. And then the woman was like, what are you talking about? Or she was waiting. And the guys were laughing and everything. They're like, what are you talking about? She's like, well, I was waiting for more.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it was. It was Adam. He was perfect. He had perfect everything. And then you had the perfect home. And then you had everything that you wanted. And it was like, and what else? Because that women are never satisfied is what they were trying to get at, is because
Right.
they have that mentality. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know if it's the Satan dealing with it now and the brainwash.
Yeah, there are let's remember, but yeah, I know what you're saying. Remember, there are women though that are content being moms.
And submissive, yes.
Yes. Well,
a
not
good
so
way.
much submissive like that. But being the person to assist. I would love to have somebody to be with me. It would help a lot in all different ways. But I kind of date this one lady, but it's not going to go really any further. I never get to the level where that relationship is. That's, I honestly, it's been so long since someone cooked a dinner for me.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
Yeah, it is. It's been so long. So I've grown accustomed to being by myself mostly. And I'd grown accustomed that all I need I'm doing is gaining knowledge. Uh, I work out a little bit, somewhat fit, and I've got my one business and I'm starting another venture. And then I'm going to go explore the world.
Yeah, because by then the world should start being cleaned out because those gringos are depends on where you go. We're quite a bit of money. Depends on where you are. Well, right now it might be you cross this line, you're gonna die because the Houthis just learned that lesson.
Yeah.
And the others are gonna learn it very quickly. The cartels. That's what I mean by weak is because of, you know, the just the way that they're acting and reacting to
right.
people, and they go after
And
individuals, they get women. Yeah.
yeah, and we could scan all that from space. And we can let our guys know exactly where every warm body is. Seriously.
I think that's what we're doing now. We're almost getting a practice, I feel.
Well, that's when you watch the submarine hunter fly around. That is super sensitive.
The P8 Poseidon, yeah, those are flying
Yeah.
around all the time. Speaking
Yeah.
about that, guess what got brought back?
What?
Death penalty
Ooh, really? In the military?
everywhere.
Nationwide.
Yep. And so much for the Department of Education, or
Oh, yeah.
Department of Money Laundering is what we should call it.
Well, they were actually sending out 10% to the states. 10%.
You know what that reminds me of,
What
Steve?
did they do with the rest of it?
Bingo. Oh no, I was about to say, remember Susan G. Anthony or whatever? You found out 93% goes to Susan B, whoever the fuck, and then 7% goes to the breast cancer. It's the same thing. You're right.
Well, yeah, and that's when every time I see one of those things, give $1 here, will you round it up? I go, no, because 90% of that is going to the administrative part of it, and they're paying themselves outrageous amounts of money every year. When the cure for cancers are by far more simple than what we realize.
And less profitable. That's the biggest.
They make no profit in it.
Yep.
There will be a section of industry that will be cleaned out.
I honestly believe pharmakia.
Pharmaceutical side of the world.
Well, Trump's bringing that, by the way, back because remember Bayer, they let Bayer take over and went over to Germany. He says he wants that back here, our pharmaceutical industry, but I think he means like bandages, gauze, stuff like that. Not not experimental drugs or all these drugs that
well, like ivermectin, a lot of it is made over in India by the tons. Hydroxychloroquine, and then I know somebody has a friend in across the border. He brings him ivermectin.
I told you it's wormwood, right?
Yeah.
I plan on growing that again. It died off before, but I'll have to grow it again.
Yeah. So I think a lot of this stuff is pretty. We're gonna watch. We are moving into the golden age. Myself, I just want the financial system to get underway quicker than it is.
We talked about this the other day, right? Because you're more towards the end of your life, not like absolute end, but you're more towards over the upper half. That's why you want that, so it frees you up to
right, because I don't want to have to start over again. I'm too old. I don't know if I have. It's not that I don't have the agenda. I mean, I'm in really pretty good shape. I don't take any pharmakias whatsoever. But to think to have to start all over again is like, it's like when I go in, I see a car that has to be restored. When I was younger, they pulled it in. It's exciting, but now I look at one and I go, that's a lot of damn work.
Also, when they're very poor too. So I mean, it's different. Like if you see someone pulling, well, no. Sometimes when they pull a Mercedes, it could be even worse because they're tight asses when they're rich.
Well, there's certain guys that drive certain cars, certain guys in certain businesses that they're going to be a problem every single time. But I want to move out of that because I'm positioning myself so when the golden age starts to happen, it's happening.
And even
You know,
this.
Yahuwah wants to bless us. He created this world for us. He really did. Anyways, though, I'm getting kind of wore down here, man.
Well, you're
So-
telling me all I'm thinking about is food. I had
You
I had-
didn't eat it? Didn't eat yet?
no, I had some of the food sample things. Yeah, not samples, but I got some of those Lipton iced tea cup soup things or whatever. You know what I mean? The pre-made package things, and it's basically mostly broth with a little bit. And
Yeah.
all I'm thinking about is just all sorts of different things. But I don't have any room in my fridge is the problem. And secondly, the food I cooked, I want to cook something else to make sure it wasn't the food that I ate already. To try to eliminate that process. To know it wasn't that, because when I cooked that beef, Steve, there was it looks almost like blood clots on it.
Oh, where'd you get the beef?
From the local person, from the local butcher. I don't know where they get the cow from though. That's the thing. And I just saw that recently. It happened to be on the outside of the package. I know.
Oh.
I know. Tell me about it. I might actually no longer buy it from them. And I buy them frozen, so it's not like I look at them that way. I just grab them out of the freezer. And they're in those little sausage packets. But yeah, that's what made me wonder about that. But also, I don't know why I was starting to think of Visine while I was sitting there.
Oh yeah, Visine. That has other effects on you too.
But the no, like I was getting at it's just hard to deal with that part. And then I don't know why it was popping in my head. Then you're right, it does that. But that guy had his back to me, and I didn't pay attention to what he was doing. I went over and I got the condiments and everything for it. And who knows, he could have done something like that. And with all this Tesla stuff, and I had the MAGA hat on. So, I mean, I don't know, that could have been it, or it could have been something else. I don't know. Or all the junk food, because I've been eating that, the Hormel, not Hormel, but those pre-made sliced meat that you get, meat and cheese
Yeah.
platters. Yeah, I've been eating all, because I've been kind of lazy, and then mom bought a huge one. And it takes her forever to get through it. And I was like, all right, I might as well eat it. And yeah, I don't know if it was just a combination of all that crap or what was happening.
Yeah. Well, I've been trying to steer away from bad stuff. I mean, when I do eat it, it messes me up really bad.
Like your potato chips.
Yes. Actually, if I eat potato chips, a certain brand, actually causes a prostate issue.
I heard that the canola oil and stuff like that was bad for such situations like that. I wonder if your half potato in the bag or actually a potato and a half in a bag will be healthier when you would do the stop with the Roundup and the other stuff, but also with the beef tallow, because that's the next thing coming up of deep fry and stuff. Because I've cooked something, I've sliced it, but not as thin as that, and it tastes pretty good, but I can't get it crispy like they do because they have it a certain amount of thinness.
Yeah. So you got to use a certain oil, and then you got to buy the good oil to cook it in.
I don't know what's kettle corn made out of, but I hate the kettle chips. Anytime I see kettle chips, I go nope, because to me it tastes stale.
Yeah, I don't mind those so much.
Oh,
But like when I go in the store, I'm so tempted to buy chips. And every once in a while I give in to the ice cream. But I just can't eat a little bit.
no, it's almost the whole tub.
It's like forget putting any in a bowl.
Yeah, no, I know. I know. I
want some.
cup. I had the same feeling. That's why I know. And then that thing was also it had frostbite on it from a month ago. I bought it. So I'm wondering if the combination of that and the other stuff, but because I don't get sick. I haven't got sick in 2 years.
Yeah, you caught some kind of like a 24-hour bug, or who knows what happens. Like everybody got that really weird sickness out here in Aurora, Denver area. And almost everybody I know caught it. I started to catch it, but it's all the stuff I take. It's barely started and then it went away.
Yeah, I stopped taking my supplements. One, it got expensive. And two, when I started taking all the supplements together, and I don't know, some of it might actually be out of date. They say, oh, it doesn't expire, but I don't know. When I take it shortly after, I just don't feel well. You know what I mean?
Well, there's only a handful of stuff I take, and there's platitudes. What do they call those in chocolate? So I'll have a cup of chocolate now, hot chocolate, organic, instead of coffee in the morning. And so I'm probably going to quit pretty much drinking coffee. I might get hickory root, get that, and I'll start doing hickory root again. This hickory root, because you could get coffee over the Asian market down the road or in Aurora. It's mixed with hickory root. And hickory root actually replaced coffee during a coffee shortage a long time ago. Kind of tastes like coffee, but it's much better for you. Way much better for you.
Yeah, if you can't give up the caffeine, because that's a drug that people don't realize and understand that they're addicted to. I mean, I've seen people freak out, snap on people. I have to have my food coming tomorrow. It's like, calm down. May the power of Christ compel you.
Yeah. Well, when I was a kid, the McDonald's commercial was they pull up, this guy would pull up next to the light and look at it. Hey, how's it going? Big old lion would show up. Oh, hasn't had his McDonald's coffee yet. There was really a commercial like that.
I believe it. I've seen stuff like that.
It's so funny.
I did this what was it, a year ago? I did the Grey Poupon commercial with someone. I go, pardon me, sir, do you have any Grey Poupon?
Oh yeah. That
What?
commercial is such a hit. Everybody knows Grey Poupon because of that commercial. Whoever came up with that was a genius.
But yeah, no, you're right. This is the way that things are going. We just want to try to educate people from, and no, we're not geniuses in it. We just noticed that 1 + 1 is not adding up to 2. It's adding up to 5 is what they're telling us. And then they say, you see someone like Doge and all them coming in. We already know what Trump did the first time, and we know he's going to do it the second time. That's why we voted for him. But
Right.
the Doge and stuff like that, getting all this corruption, we didn't know it was there. Because remember,
Oh,
we, as the general public, knew that the military was corrupt. You know, like, oh, here's a $10,000 pencil. No, it's
Oh
not.
yeah, that's the
10 cents
military industrial complex. Yeah, that goes to the deep space, dark or secret space program stuff.
Yeah, but the corruption,
all
like,
kinds of stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
But like you said, though, I had no idea about ASID. I had no idea how corrupt these agencies were, and almost, I think every one of them been laundering money.
You knew that something had to be coming through, because I learned, I don't know about you, but I started learning about the CIA starting to overturn governments and either.
Oh yeah, I knew about that
honeypot,
for
yeah.
way a long time.
Been doing that for a long. They
Since
made
my early days of politics in 1990.
I was gonna say, they even made video games out of it. They made movies out of it. I mean, they made it completely prominent. But just the way that it's going, you're right, Steve, of different agencies, how corrupt they were. We knew that some of them were that way, and then not to mention, you know, the FBI. It's starting to get respect back since they put Cash and Bongino
in there. Yeah, it will pretty quick. They're filtering out the guys and women that are not good, and the people in there going to start doing their job and going investigating crimes or people that are suspected in, you know, money, you know, drug, whatever, you know, whatever. And they're going to go investigate those like they're supposed to.
Could you imagine being those people though? And just the linear line of history, not literally linear, but the line of history where you would be the person that turned the biggest agency in the biggest country in the world, not biggest agency, but biggest law enforcement agency in the world, going from trying on Melania's dresses, which it wasn't necessarily just the FBI; those were subcontracted out, and they asked for volunteers to go to Mar-a-Lago and do that. Not the dress part, but take down Mar-a-Lago and serve a search warrant. But the other part is like I said, the linear part of history of going from that to being one of the toughest agencies out there, and how them being able to change it. Could you imagine that of being able to be one of those people? Because I think that's what some of the things we were seeing the last days of Dan Bongino. Not only just because someone goes, oh, he's in it for himself. Who takes a pay cut in this world? Who would take a pay cut like that?
Okay, my daughter's friend is good friends with Kash Patel's girlfriend. And my daughter asked her, is he for real? She said, yes. He's not fake. He is for real. This comes directly. I don't know how it is I run into all these people that know other people. I'm serious. It's weird.
It's fate, like we talked about before, Steve. Remember, this is not an accident. You and I are sitting here talking on here. You being called to do one thing of the Bible and trying to find a congregation and or if not, you never mentioned it, but I'm the one that keeps mentioning it. Start your own if you don't, not own congregation, but the ways that Yahuwah wanted us to be, because there's just too many ways of, like you said, man's ways. Wait a second, this light can't be on today. It's Shabbat.
Well, the Protestant church has been greatly not dissolved, but diluted. It has been diluted. And the ecclesia, that's what church is actually called, ecclesia. Church in itself, in the Druid language, means where they store their idols. And I think in Latin Vulgate, church actually means crazy house.
Yep.
We'll confirm all this, but I have seen it a few times. That's why we are actually the ecclesia. That's what we're actually referred to as, the ecclesia.
And the body is a temple, and they mean it that way. That's why you're not supposed to be bringing crap in your body. You're not supposed to be tagging your body with the tattoos. They talked about that. They even say in the Bible, don't put makeup on. All these women are makeup on.
There's places where adorning with a little bit, I've seen, like a ring in the nose, just slightly, very, very little adorning. But and the tattoos it talks about, you're not supposed to put tattoos on your body that memorialize those whom have already passed.
Oh, so you see those rest in pieces are not supposed to be on there, and yeah.
No, you're not supposed to have that on your body where they have a person's name and rest in peace and memory of. That you're not supposed to have.
Well,
there might be some other tattoos. I thought about getting a tattoo in, probably not though, but in ancient Hebrew, Paleo Hebrew.
Yeah.
But when you follow Yahuwah's commandments, his name is already printed on you.
In your DNA.
You're already there. It's already printed.
But the one thing that is the biggest fear that a lot of people should worry about is depart from the iniquity. I knew you not.
That's right. And he actually says, apart from me, workers of iniquity, lawless one. The lawless meant Torahless. We're never supposed to leave the Torah completely.
That's why you see a lot of people.
Even Paul, even after Christ or Yeshua ascended, he still observed the holidays. Even after chapter 10, Peter still observed the food laws. That chapter has been really messed up, Acts chapter 10, about the food. Big time.
And people have started converting it to their own ways and modernizing it. You know, oh, it's okay to eat this and this and this. And
no.
Yeah.
The food got his laws do, Yeshua said, not one thing of the law shall pass away.
You know what I'm starting to think of now and figure out, Steve, because Within the last month and a half or so, I've been hearing nothing but parasites from doctors, parasites from people doing cleanses or other stuff. And it makes me wonder, is that's what Yahuwah was trying to save us from, was all these parasites saying, okay, these pigs are unclean.
Well,
Which you
yeah,
can
when
cut,
you
you can cut it
eat-
up and see it.
a lot of times when you eat pork, it's already been what they call pre-cooked, but you eat it cold. The honey, room temperature. That's not a good thing. So pork, shellfish, because they walk the bottom of the ocean floor and they eat everything that dies and everything that lands on the bottom of the floor, lands on the floor. Now, flounder is a fish. It lays underneath the sand and hides, but it eats fish going over the top of it. And that has fins on it. Scale, it's not skin fish. You're not supposed to eat anything that's got to have scales and fins. And there's only certain birds you're allowed to eat too. And the real chicken is something that's just probably come about in the last 100 years. The real chickens came from the jungle. They were this big, and they were the cocks they used to fight with. Well, since the 40s, they've actually grown them 4,000%.
For food product, yep. I saw the size, it's growing bigger. And then now, Steve, if you buy chicken wings like I used to, I stopped doing it a couple months ago, but you'll start seeing all the legs break. And we also get half chicken, half legs, by the way. If you know, the drum part and the other part are one wing of that, one leg of them, or wing of them. That's wing, yeah. One wing. And if you go to Hooters, that's actually what a chicken wing looks like. They don't cut it in half to be a cheap ass and go, here's 2 wings out of 1.
Yeah.
That's like grabbing ribs, Steve, and going, okay, here's 3 ribs. You got ribs. It's like, no. Where's the rest of the back?
Here's a third of the ribs. Yeah.
Here's a third of the meat.
We have to be careful what we eat, and because our bodies are the temple that houses the spirit of Yahuwah, the Holy Spirit. It lives and dwells within us.
That's how I know some of this stuff is legit. Like how you said your daughter asked her friend about cash. It's the same way as if you look at Trump. If he wasn't legitimate, they wouldn't try to kill him.
That's right. If he wasn't over the target, like Doge, they wouldn't be throwing this fit. But he's getting rid of their piggy bank. Without money, they're nothing.
They're spending it faster than they're making it, but then it's almost like a limited supply because they found out how to drain it out of us. Whether you're talking about with that, Steve, or even in our own taxes, each state and city and all that are going into someone to be kicked back.
Absolutely, because I'm thinking, okay, I pay road tax every time I buy a gallon of gas. How come I have to, when I go to the Department of Motor Vehicle to update my tags, they tax me on my truck because it's heavier, so they tax me more because of its weight on the road.
And
I already paid the taxes for that. In this state, they've just went off their rockers, man, on taxes. I really don't. I'm going to see how it goes. I'll rely on Yahuwah, how he wants me to go. But I just feel like I don't want to go because of my grandchildren.
Yeah, don't let that be a stopping force. But
I got to go into semi-retirement mode. When I say semi-retirement, I'm not going to quit working until I can't function anymore. I will still work, but not as hard. My work will be different. My work will be what I do in the morning real early for about an hour. And my job will be to study ancient manuscripts, learn things, and teach anywhere I go. Anywhere Yahuwah leads me, I will teach.
And speaking about the road taxes, not switch subjects, but the road tax, I got screwed over too because I have a 3/4 ton pickup truck.
Right.
And they
Yeah.
charge you like you have a business, and it's like that's kind of BS. If you're registering under a business or you're a part of that, you need, yeah, and yes, appropriately. And then secondly, here's a bone I gotta pick. I know Teslas are getting burned down right now, but those mother effers were a couple years ago during Biden's era. I know for sure they were getting tax breaks and all sorts of other stuff. They're heavier vehicles. They tear up the roads, and if they hit our guardrails, they'll go right through them. And
Yeah.
that's not me. That's someone from transportation
They're
and knowing the
heavy,
engineering of
heavy.
it.
Those are heavy. Make them heavy.
Yep.
Yeah. All of that stuff, because your vehicle's not a commercial vehicle. You're not on the road 7 days a week doing jobs.
Yep.
And so they're lumping your truck into that.
And it's wrong. And I should be able to be paying a lot less than
Well,
$100
that's
a
why
month or a
we
year.
have so many people in the government that have never had a real job. They only know how to be parasitic.
That is their job, is to be
Yeah.
the government. They think that's a job, Steve. So they don't realize that the government works for us, the people. They lost their way. They said, no, we're going to come after you. We're going to go arrest you. It's just like
Right.
all
Well,
that
it's
January
like-
6th crap.
It's like the thing here in Aurora. If your insurance is out of date, your card, or you can't find your insurance card or whatever, you're going to lose your vehicle, the sign says.
But did that mean like taking your car? Because just to be fair, Steve, if they're reminding you, like I did the same thing in Florida. I was guilty of this in I think 16, 17, something like that. I didn't pay for a year and a half, insurance or the other, and I wound up getting my car impounded, but not taken away. It cost me a couple $100 to get it back, but
Yeah.
well, it wasn't a couple hundred, but hundreds of dollars and to get it back. And when I got it back, I mean, I got it back. So it's not like,
I don't know, but to
confiscated.
say you're going to lose your car instead of saying your car will be towed, I think they're trying to steal people's.
Yeah.
Mike Hoffman, who's supposed to be a Republican, he used to be a congressman, is an absolute rhino. Because he was going against a city councilwoman in Aurora that was exposing the gangs taking over the apartments. And he was trying to shush her down.
Man, we have a lot of these rhinos that we had to. I felt sick when I had to vote for Don Bacon and the other criminals. I felt sick because I knew what they did to us during the COVID times, like you just talked about. I remember what they did, but it's like, oh, we do that or we vote for a Democrat. I don't know what to do. Trump said to do this down the line, not because we're doing blindly what Trump said, but there's a plan, and we were told to trust the plan, and
Right.
there's a lot of things that have made the
That's-
plan legitimate right now.
That's what we're trying to do is, but we only have so much resource left to do that.
Yeah, they have to understand we're getting close to the bottom of the tank. They have to give us a shot in the arm, which would be helping out, like pay for most of us. It would be, giving us the Doge check
Well,
you guys were promising,
yeah,
or other
just-
things like that.
Just to lower the interest rate, say, okay, Fed, I want the interest rate back to where it was when I was in office.
Give us a fighting chance at least.
That would boom the economy, and then the Doge check, stuff like that would help immensely.
Because here's the dangerous thing, Steve. You just mentioned it about the insurance and the registration. I've looked at so many different cars, like walking in different parking lots and stuff like that. It's not just the body that's rusted, and I've seen it too, that the underneath, you're like, are you
Yeah,
sure you can
there's-
drive that?
A lot of places we don't have, I think not have emissions is getting killed big time. Okay. But I sincerely believe that once a year, it doesn't hurt to pay the city $25 to get your vehicle inspected. It's not going to hurt. Vehicle safety inspection, because not everybody is inept on keeping their cars up.
Yep.
They
Or
don't
if you,
know, or they
if you-
trust somebody.
I was gonna say, or if you are Steve, you might not have the access like you or other people do of lifts where you can go up underneath it and look at it. You're right.
Right. And see, that's the thing. I feel bad for people because some of the work I do, like on families' cars, In my car, you might as well. I don't know how you can afford it. How? How do you afford it? You can't. And that's another problem too. These dealerships are the main problems running the prices up. $250 an hour to work on your car. Really?
Yeah.
The poor tech doesn't get that. That goes to the company.
Yep.
Because that's a point of greed.
And then you find you're right. You find your favorite shop, like you said, Steve. You find someone that you could trust, and then you're right. Oh, you find it's 250. Oh, Jose over here down the corner out of his garage, you do it for $25. You know what I mean? But then you don't know if Jose put all the screws back.
Well,
You
20.
know.
You got to think too. The person does have to run their business.
Yeah.
And if they got a high flow, a lot of volume, you don't have to charge. You could charge 125, 150 an hour, and you're still going to come out 100 miles ahead.
Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, speaking about that, where my cousin works, Steve, that particular city is really greedy about taxes.
Are they?
Yeah, really greedy, and it's known for it. Not, it's not like everybody when they go to Vala, it's like, oh yeah, why is it so expensive here? Because the taxes of Gretna is outrageous, and it's
Well, a lot of these cities eventually, because there's 5 or 6 blue states that are losing seats.
Yep.
And are going to red states. They're actually losing seats because their population, once they do the census correctly, they're going to lose a lot more seats.
And I think once all this stuff starts coming through, we need to start fixing it, to be honest with you. But the vaccines, the ones that kept up with all the vaccines, they're going to start and are dropping. I'm seeing so many of the remember that COVID thing that and we know put out. You remember?
Yeah.
I forgot what it was, but it was on Telegram, and you could look at it. Yeah, I wound up following that. You could see them, and a lot more are dropping off. Oh, I got my COVID shot. You should too. Don't be a punk ass. You should get your blah blah blah. The shot too. And it's like, come on, guys.
Well, a lot of those people are starting to come down with physical ailments. I'm watching people change that have had super boosted. They're changing. They're totally changing. Anyways, though, man, I need to get off the thing here. But cool. All right. Well, another couple of days. We'll put that together too. We'll do more depth on that scanner guy. Showing off. That's done with a different frequency. It's like an infrared camera it's been set to.
Oh,
So
yeah.
see all that. Otherwise, your naked eye can't see it.
That's a thousands and thousands of dollar camera. That's why I was wondering or hoping if this was going to be a $10,000 check, then that might put me on the possibility of trying to look for a used version because it was a Sony A7 is what it said on there. I don't know what it is, but what I've been looking into is these mirrorless cameras. I have like we're not going far, but a level 2 sensor. What he has is a level 4, is one of those where, like I said, off your back deck, I could have taken a picture with a better camera and it would have shown what he's got. Yeah. So it's something to do with the camera. That's why I said we should have been there, but agreed. We should be there to where I can go, we can zoom into the next galaxy out there with a small camera, dude.
Oh yeah, well, the
not putting us
there. They just don't want us to see that stuff.